What up, though? One Pride. This is the Roar of the Lions UK podcast, the podcast where One Pride goes worldwide. My name is Antony Fitzpatrick. I'm joined by Ryan McCluskey on this fine Saturday, which can mean one thing a little later in the week. This time, a weekly dose of college knowledge. It is the college football podcast, Snap, Dragon, and Pop. This is going to be a little bit of a different show to what we normally do. Normally, we're on a Wednesday and we get to just review a week as it's happened and then look ahead to the next, but because of a little emergency we had earlier in the week, we've had to delay it to the Saturday, so the games for week 11 are actually happening now whilst we will be back talking about week 10. So sorry if it's a weird little juxtaposition of what we normally do, but yeah, we're going to keep it a little bit briefer this evening, and then we're going to get out of here so we can go watch the college football, which is what we love to do. Obviously, as stuff happens with this slate, you know, we can comment on it, we can have a look at it, etc. But yeah, anywho, how you doing, Rye? Week 10 is already in the books. We're on week 11 now. The FCS playoff brackets are out. The FBS playoff brackets are out. This is where we start looking at these brackets very carefully and eagerly anticipating some of the matchups we may get in the postseason.
Yeah, we're at that point now where we're starting to draft up potential playoff brackets. There's a few teams now that are, I suppose, have got one hand already on a berth potentially, or one of those opening brackets, and a lot of teams that are just trying to stay alive. So I think that the G5 race, like I said, talk about today, was blown wide open this week, and yeah, that's probably the hottest seat right now in the country, is who is going to get that one berth, because it is all completely up for grabs.
Yeah, it is the fun part where we get to pontificate and speculate over it all. We are going to do that this evening. Brett DeWitt's in the building, Lisa De Lorenzo's in the building, Duncan Stewart's in the building. Hope you're well. Lisa asks, how's Hank doing? For those who don't know, Hank had a little bit of an episode earlier in it, but he's doing good, Rye.
He's responding, like I say, some serious allergic reaction. Like I say, he seems like he's improving, so we'll just monitor him now and see how he gets on. Just feeling sorry for himself right now. He's in that stage.
Yeah, he's lying down with the Tugger Harbindars watching TV. But no, he's good. Hopefully he's going to be all right. But yeah, we just needed to make sure he was good first. Ryan did. So we thought we'd just wait, because I didn't want to do the show without Ryan. It's not the same when there's only one of us here. So anywho, right, let's dive down. I'm going to skip over all the usual stuff that we do to start with, save some time. We're going to go right into the news. Only news that's happened in terms of head coach firing since we last did a show, right? Hugh Freeze is gone at Auburn. Not really surprising. In his third year there, and just arguably never got that program going despite better recruiting. You know, you had high 5-stars like Cam Coleman, etc. arrive on campus. You're meant to have had a decent quarterback this year, but the offensive line has been a running joke in that team for decades now. Not surprising that Freeze is gone. 15 and 19 in 2 seasons is not good enough for a team of Auburn's stature.
No, I think we knew at some point he was going to go. It was just more of a case of when than if. Like I say, recent results have not been great to him. Seasons have been kind. Like I say, he's had an influx of talent. Like I say, there's some very good young players on the roster right now that are not being maximised. And, well, a few players' nose is clearly out. I feel like a team that's probably about to see a mass exodus of a lot of players, which will really suffer them. So, not his fault, but this staff, this programme, like I say, right now, probably will be set back by a couple of seasons by what happens in this current off-season, depending on the hire as well.
Yes.
It's a really big time. They've got to get it right to convince some of these guys to stay.
Yes, and Auburn have a track record of picking questionable choices, even at the beginning. Like you just know they're not the right ones. But we will see with that. Lisa goes, Hank, his family. He is indeed. He is the most popular member on this panel. In terms of the guys who are going to replace him, ESPN put up a list of 5. And interesting the direction they went in here, right? So John Sumrall, the Tulane head coach, Brent Key, the Georgia Tech head coach, Eli Drinkwitz, the Missouri head coach, if they want to go SEC experience. Vanderbilt's own Clark Lee is in the conversation here. And then they got Georgia defensive coordinator Glenn Schumann as well. Noticeably guys from smaller programs overachieving. Georgia Tech, Vanderbilt, Tulane, maybe not overachieving, but has had a successful run with programs there. Maybe it does feel like maybe that's the direction Auburn should go now, rather than these old figures, controversial figures, the usual route they seem to go.
Yeah, I think it's time for some new blood. I think it's time for a younger, more up-and-coming coach.
Yeah.
I love John Sumwell. I think he should be the favourite. I think he will go there eventually. I think that position is kind of destined for him. I think I saw somewhere Brent Keys might have signed an extension this week.
Yes.
Yeah. So like I say, you can still get him. He's just now more expensive. But yeah, I'm very impressed with what he's done. Like I say, at Georgia Tech in a conference that was dominated by Clemson for so long.
Yeah.
They've now fallen from flight. Like you said, Yellow Jackets have found a brand of football. He's also done a great job at fixing Haynes King, who, like you say, was somewhat good but broken when he arrived. Like you say, a very polarising QB, but he's built an offence around him that gets the best of his skills. That takes a lot. And Clarkley, yeah, he's just taken a team that kind of just turned up, played, and the result is what it is, and the fan base kind of were just okay with that for a long time at Vanderbilt. No more now. They have expectations. They're bringing in players that actually want to win and expect to win. And now they're challenging that middle rung where it's a bit of a dogpile in the SEC to kind of prove themselves as a household name. So 3 names to watch, 3 people that could say, right, say why would they leave the situation they're in? But yeah, SEC has pull, so it'd be very interesting to see. I'd hate for them to go for someone in their late 50s, early 60s. Like I say, I just don't think you need that right now. You tried that Hugh Freeze stable program.
They have. There's a lot of big jobs open out there. Florida's open, LSU's open, Auburn is a big job by all intents and purposes open. You're probably going to have every major Florida job open this year. If the Hurricanes lose another, Cristobal could be out. Florida State, they're going to get rid of Mike Norvell when the season's done, so we will see there. But Freeze gone from Auburn. Other little bits of news we quickly wanted to do. Playoff brackets, one of our favourite things. And the FCS playoff brackets, they're in the second week now. We didn't look at them week 1, but I just quickly wanted to go through them because there's some interesting names in here. And obviously Ryan keeps a very close eye on these things. So the top 10 as ranked week 2, obviously not this week, but at the end of last week's fixtures. At number 10... you've got UC Davis sat on 6-2. At number 9, you've got Harvard on a perfect 7-0 so far. At 8, you've got Monmouth 8-1. At number 7, you've got Tennessee Tech, who are 9-0. At number 6, you've got South Dakota State at 7-2. At 5, you've got Tarleton State on 9-1. You've got Lehigh and Montana at 4-3 respectively, are both 9-0. Number 2, you've got Montana State, who are 7-2 on the year, and of course at number 1, it's not going to be anybody else. You've got the Bison. It's North Dakota State at 9-0, and some names you might not usually expect to see in there. Obviously, some made the playoffs last year, some who were emerging teams, but just some of the teams in here who you might not consider to be in. At number 9, you've got Harvard, and as Ryan quite rightly mentioned in the chat when this was announced, no Ivy League team has ever made the FCS playoffs, but as it stands, Harvard will be in if they carry on going as they do throughout the season. At number 7, you've got Tennessee Tech. They're 4th in the regular season rankings, because obviously there's regular season rankings and playoff rankings. It's their first 9-0 start since 1952. That is about 73 years. This Tennessee Tech team is having a season for the ages. And then at number 4, you've got Lehigh as well. I think they may have got in last year at 9-0. They're coming off a 41-0 win over the Georgetown Hoyas last week. It was their first ever shutout since 2009. But a lot of the big names at the top there, but we've got the Ivy League knocking around here. We've got a couple of teams fighting big who we wouldn't expect to be in there at this point of the season.
I'd say you've got your first ever Ivy League berth, I'd say, which I think is great, because obviously for years now Ivy League football has been doing good stuff, sending players to the draft. Like saying, obviously, kids with very good GPAs, but are also very strong athletes. But the conference just never. I don't think they've either not had an agreement or just chose not to. But now they decided to get a berth and send a team to them. I think it's very good. Like saying the Harvard, the Crimson, they're a good program. Like I say, they had one of the better, more profile FCS QBs in the country last year. Right now, like you say, they've got the strong bid. So currently, like I say, it's just them. There's no at-large bid currently coming out of the Ivy League, which doesn't surprise me right now because it's kind of going to be a newcomer to the playoffs. So it makes sense that you'll only have the winner really getting a bid. But yeah, like I say, you've still got Yale and Dartmouth and Penn still in the background with an outside chance of maybe sneaking an at-large bid, but a lot of things will have to happen between now and then. But yeah, I'm very interested to see how an Ivy League school would do in the playoffs that they're not currently. Because they used to play, like I say, their schedule, but they play a lot of each other. They won't play a lot of these teams that will be in the playoffs very often. Some of these teams maybe they've never played, so it could be very interesting. But yeah, as you mentioned, Lehigh, I mean, proper sleeper. They've got the current best winning record in the FCS. They've won 14 straight games. So the Lehigh team right now in the Patriot League have taken over from, like, say, Holy Cross, where Bob Chesney left. So that mantle is now gone, and they've taken that mantle of the Patriots. But yeah, a team nobody really wants to actually play. And yeah, they've got an at-large bid potential with Lafayette. Now on November 22nd, the last day of the regular season, is Lehigh v Lafayette. And it will be a case of winner gets automatic bid, other one hopes to be at large and does play in the first round. So that conference in the Patriot League is very much open to a potential decider and will have a lot of say in the playoffs. Yeah, but so if you're looking at large teams that aren't ranked, I think a team that surprised a lot this year, Western Carolina, football right now, and it's in a shaky place. The whole state in general, like you say, you got South, you got North, but Western 6-3 really would be scheduled to play in the first round against, I believe, Rhode Island, which would make them a really interesting potential tie and it could be a real banana skin for England in the first round playing them. So they'd be very interesting how they do actually finish out the year. So yeah, that's a team that I don't think I'd want to play in the first round right now that's not ranked.
No, absolutely. We will keep an eye on the weeks as we go. Sorry, I may have had a little bit of lag there. I hope everybody is still with us. Don't know why the frame rate just dropped for a moment, but it seems to be back up and running. But yeah, those are the FCS playoffs as they stand. We'll do the FBS playoff stuff next week. Suffice to say, though, there are some very tasty fixtures. The way the rankings have been done from the one that really stood out to me, right, was Oregon travelling to Texas Tech. Obviously, with what Tech are doing right now to BYU or were, it was. I'd love to see that battle. I think that needs to happen in the playoffs, right? We need to see how good this Texas Tech team is.
Yeah, that'd be a serious test because you've got that Oregon O-line, like I said, it's done such a good job with, like, say, multiple NFL draft picks coming on it this year, and then you've got the best defensive line in football that's worth about $7 million and also got multiple top 100, 150 draft picks on it. It would be pure trench warfare. Like I say, who can protect and who can get to the quarterback, and that will decide the entire game. And you've also got two coaches very well respected. I've got a lot of time for Joey at Texas Tech. He's done a lot of work building a program, putting it in a position where it can be invested into. You've got to get the things right, the foundations, the staff, before someone's going to throw any money at it. And he had him in a place. He's got the money. Now he's got the talent. I say he's making it happen. And then you've got Dan Lanning, for me, the number one coach in the country that's adamant he's not leaving Oregon. But we'll see about that, won't we? When the huge big money offers come in, which will be coming in a couple of weeks. Yeah, for me, that would be a potential fireworks.
Yeah, I would love to see that. But with the games going on again, there's no point in doing this one because the brackets are going to change tomorrow anyhow. But we will drop back to that. Right, we're going to dive down into the Week 10 schedule. I'm not going to do this. So this week's show was named after one of the sections I was going to do, in that we were going to take a look at one team from each conference who has surprised us this year in a good way. But obviously there's a new set of games happening right now, and I don't want to burst the load on that one, so I'm going to move it back to next week. So the title of the show isn't relevant for once in there, but it was going to be looking at the San Diego State Aztecs, who currently lead the Mountain West. We will talk about their game very shortly, but we'll go chronologically through the games that happened last week and kind of do it that way. Hang on, where was I? I am in. It was right. So obviously with midweek CUSA and happening now, Kennesaw State, they're another one of the teams who were on this list next week. Hopefully they can win again this week. Took down UTEP 33-20 at home. They moved to a 6-2 record, but they've got a clean 4-0 record in the CUSA. Moving on to the day after, going forward, one thing I want to do, by the way, is when we go through all these games, I've got this new thing now where we're going to do 1 point per game, and that at least I'm going to say one interesting thing that has happened in all these games. I started the list this week. I will get as far through it as I can, and then we'll just, we'll do it in future going forward. But James Madison, 52-20 winners over Texas State last week, blew the Bobcats out the wall. Bobcats having a horrible year at 0-4. JMU are 5-0, or they are currently. But last week beating Texas State, it was the fourth consecutive second half shutout from the James Madison defense. 4 games in a row, they have not allowed a single point in the second half of a game. If you stretch it back to the last 6 games, they've given up 1 touchdown and 1 field goal in the second half of the last 6 games. And we've mentioned Bob Chesney's name once already this evening. He's now the head coach there at JMU. I mean, what a phenomenal record in 6 games to give up 10 points in the second half of games. Like, the Dukes are ready to go back after the Sun Belt this year, and not as much attention was paid to him as when Signetti was there, but it seems like he's rebuilt that thing now.
Yeah, like you say, he's a coach that is going very much under the radar. Like I say, we've just talked about Clark Lee, Brent Keys, Alex Golesh, John Sumrall. But when you think of, like say, lesser school guys or G5 guys, when you think about a guy that's won like 41 of 52 FBS games as a coach right now, and he's got a program that was basically championship eligible when it wasn't eligible, like say what he's been doing. And it's the fact that they've got here now where they can play in championship games, that the consistency's still there. They've not stopped winning games, even though they couldn't play in bowl games, couldn't make a title game when they jumped up from the FCS. They've kept that right through. And as you say, that defense has been unreal. Like I say, I think it's Jordan or Jacob Thomas, number 7, their safety. I've watched him all year. Last couple of weeks especially, like I say, he's playing out of his skin. But that D-line it's the bread and butter. It's the heartbeat of the defence. Like you say, it's incredible in the run game, and he's doing a phenomenal job as a unit against the quarterback. And yeah, they're just smothering teams. They just come out, start so hot, these games, that by the time they get to half-time, some of these games are already over. And as you said then, but they don't take the pressure off. Like I say, he comes and he brings the intensity on the sideline, even when he knows the game is won. And by then, a lot of teams kind of just are into submission mode. They kind of just go through the motions, and that does lead to these shutouts. But yeah, he needs to end the season strong. Still a small chance that James Madison go to the FBS playoffs. They've still got a percentage chance. They do need some help, but if they go out, win the Sun Belt, they have to be considered against, like you say, a UCF, an MC, a Memphis or Tulane. They will have to be in the picture, even if you think they're too small or not credible.
Yeah, absolutely, you do. Jacksonville State beat Middle Tennessee 24-21. Jacksonville State with 3 successive fourth quarter scores to overcome what was a big deficit to a bad Middle Tennessee team, but they're still unbeaten in the CUSA this year. Missouri State, the Bears, beat Florida International 28-21. It was the Bears' first ever home win over an FBS team. Obviously, they've just made up the jump this year. The Bears, they're 5-3 this year. They're 3-1 in the CUSA. This may seem like a whiz. They've held 7 straight teams under 30 points, and you think, well, under 30 points, that's not much. But they're an FCS team who've just made the transition up, and we saw with Kennesaw, it's not easy for them. they're being competitive. 7 straight games, nobody's absolutely twonked them. Like, no one's dropped 40, 50, 60. They're 3-1 in the CUSA, and they're competing. They're not getting blown out. It's a big plus for that program with the record they have, but nobody's put over 30 on them in the last 7, so it proves that they are capable of adapting to this level.
Yeah, I think the first thing that you need to do if you're going to move from the SCS to the FBS is, even if you don't have a high-powered offense, you've got to be hard to beat. You've got to have a defense that can at least achieve or keep it under an attainable target. Like say 25 to 30, if you hold that to every week, you give your offense a chance, generate some turnovers, you get some good field position. And like I say, if you're keeping it to, like say, 1-score losses, like I say, that is signs of improvement. And like I say, it builds a good foundation to build on. I've been very impressed with the Bears since they've come up. Like I say, they've looked good in the CUSA. That it's as scrappy as any.
48-26 winners over Tulane. That was their 22nd straight home conference win under Jeff Traylor. At home, they're 32-4. They are an impossible team to beat when you get them to San Antonio. But as last night proved, and we'll talk about that next week, the road form is very much different. But the American Rise, it's 7 teams deep, 7 teams with 1 loss in there. Then they're all starting to beat up on one another now. Tulane were coming hot off a big win, UTSA off a loss, but the Roadrunners absolutely shellacked them at home. Then Tulane went and beat Memphis last night. This is the division of killers, so many good teams, and this is where James Madison might get in the playoffs. These teams taking wins off one another, but for UTSA at home, no one can beat them, and Traylor is still one of the better head coaches in the group of 5.
Yeah, like I say, it's a team that is blows very hot and cold. It's the Alamo Dome, isn't it? They play at home.
Yeah.
That's where they play, isn't it? Yeah,
yeah.
The Alamo Dome. And like I say, it's a team that, when they get there in their home fans, like I say, and especially in the Dome, because like I say, they're a strong run team. Like I said, they don't have to worry about conditions ever affecting them. It kind of plays into them. Like I say, with Robert Henry Jr., with that, like I say, emerging running back there right now, and a strong defense that gets a lot of turnovers. They just seem really good when they're buoyed by a large crowd at home. But then you see on the road, when they don't have that, I mean, not saying fans don't follow them, but they kind of lack that sometimes, being able to G themselves up for a crowd. It's a team that, it's very odd, like I say, how they perform home and away. But I agree with you, a head coach as well that doesn't get talked about the job that he's done since he arrived at the program, made them a very competitive team right now. And they're going to be one of the teams that will be a potential banana skin for everybody in the remaining weeks of the season, where, like I say, it's going to be will change week to week who's in the playoff race.
Yeah, absolutely. In the Sun Belt, Coastal Carolina destroyed Marshall 44-27. That game was included the beautiful glow-in-the-dark uniforms from Coastal. I don't know if you saw them, right, but I thought they were beautiful.
Yeah. The font, I love the colour and the font.
Yeah, you got glow-in-the-dark unis. The mascots had a medieval sword fight at half-time, and one of the sack celebrations in there was a guy doing Thriller from Michael Jackson. That's just great stuff from Coastal Cal. They're enjoying the free concessions at Coastal, let's say. Everybody's getting in a party race there. Memphis beat Rice 38-14. Rice were having a decent season. They'd turned the ball over just 4 times all year. Memphis got them to turn that over twice in that one. UNC beat Syracuse 27-10. It was Bill Belichick's first ever ACC win, snapping a 4-game losing streak for the Tar Heels as well. And Q's, it baffles me, right? Like, we see teams have quarterback problems, right? Some people lose their starters for the year, but generally they're able to rebound in some way. Syracuse have just been absolutely ruined by losing their starting quarterback, and it is just that. This team was really good last year, and I've never seen a team fall apart so much just because it's QB, especially at collegiate level. There's always usually talent to replace him, but they've got nothing right now. Like, one QB injury and their season is just gone.
It's quite a worrying indictment on Fran Brown and the staff, how nobody's ready to step in. They didn't have a backup plan. There's no plan B. It was all like, oh God, what do we do now? Panic stations. And a lot of this season's been very ugly. They have not been able to really bed anyone in. Nobody's made them feel comfortable, like I say, under centre, passing or running or calling it. And it's been what feels like a totally wasted year. Feels like the programme is like, in space of 12 months, has gone back to the dark ages. Like I say, you worry if they can't fix this out, then he won't be long for the job, because it's not a great indictment of how you build a roster. You can't just build a team that can only compete with who's there right now, and just taking out that key cog brings everything down. So yeah, like I say, they need to work quickly out a formulate a plan to put a guy in, even if he's not good enough already, to be able to at least put in position to kind of hold down the fort.
Yeah, absolutely not. Louisiana Tech dropped 55 on Sam Houston, and Sam Houston, I believe, the only team in the country that has not won a game this year, and they're
Rotting. They've gone backwards, haven't they?
Yeah.
Because they finished last season so strong,
and then they've just not started this season at all. Which, because all the new FCS recruits in the COC are generally doing well. We've not seen one of them take a tumble like this yet, but they're nowhere. And Louisiana Tech are just not that great a team this year. And when they're dropping nearly 60 on you, this is just going to be remembered as a season to throw away now. You've just got to throw it in the pan, try and forget about it, come back next year better.
Yeah, they've had quarterback issues. I think it's Hunter Watson.
It is Hunter Watson,
Yeah.
I believe. Oh, Gunnar Watson.
He has really struggled all year, Hunter. Like, it's a starting quarterback. And it's another team that just feels like they have to... Feels like they don't have a guy that can trust, so you kind of just leave him out there when you know he's not put in your position to win. And he's struggled all year.
Yeah.
And it feels like they're not winning a game. They have not been able to adjust. And it kind of makes you wonder, what do they do between Tuesday and Friday?
Yeah.
Like I say, the preparation.
It's not good. It's not good for sure. Where were we after that? So yeah, Louisiana Tech putting down 55 on Sam Houston. Ohio State, number one ranked team in the country, one of the last three unbeaten teams, and one of those is about to lose that record as well. There's not many there's four unbeaten teams. There's soon about to be three. But Ohio State, 38-14 winners over Penn State, whose season continues to go from bad to worse. Julian Sayin in this game, it's his third game this season with 300 plus pass yards, 3 touchdowns, no picks, and a completion rate of over 85%. Since 1985, only him and Geno Smith have done that. So 300 pass yards, 3 touchdowns, no picks, 85% completion. I mean, he just doesn't seem to get the love that all the other Ohio State quarterbacks get. You see them here, there, and everywhere. Julian Sayin doesn't seem to get that same love at the minute, but he is quietly having one of the most efficient seasons ever right now. And I know this Penn State team's bad, but they struggled. Like, up till the half, Penn State were well into this game, and you wondered whether they'd be able to get something out of it, but they just efficiently pulled away in the second. But Sayin's having a very good year and putting up numbers you don't see very often.
No, and because I think maybe it was expected of him, like I say, and he seems a quiet guy. He's not like an enigmatic character. He's not like brash. He's like say he's not a big talker like a lot of the QBs in the country that have got a high opinion of himself, which kind of just goes about his work. He will just continue to like say go under the radar, and all the weapons he's got there as well. It kind of just feels like he's the forgotten man. They just kind of benefit from his play and they get all the plaudits. So yeah, saw something like he's had like 4 games this year of like a 90 plus like PFF rating or something like say just by college metrics. Yeah, he's one of the best quarterbacks in the country right now, and Buckeye football, it's in very safe hands. I must say that they must feel good, that fan base, about where they are right now. They're about to send like multiple players to like say maybe the NFL first round, and they've got their quarterback like say after losing the guy past, like say they've got a guy slotted in straight away. And for Penn State, yeah, the season can't end any sooner. The roster is probably about to blown up, and none of the staff probably feel very safe about their jobs. So yeah, they're just kind of ticking off days on the calendar. I won't be surprised if they don't win another game.
I mean, you say that, and they're making me sweat right now. Good Lord, I'm watching the Indiana Penn State game at the minute because I love watching Indiana football. Whew, it's close. Sorry, moving on. The next one up, Vanderbilt 31, Texas 34, and I remember you very much saying this week, Texas are a bad matchup nightmare for Vandy in the style that they play, and obviously Texas had a really slow start to the season, but they're coming out their shell. They are 7-2, they're 4-1 in the SEC, and it just feels like they've woke up a little bit out of their funk. But Texas, I mean, for large parts of this, they took a big lead early on, and they were leading by 24 coming into the third quarter, but Arch Manning started this off on fire. But they were
really good lately.
Yeah, they were 34-10 up. They got they had a field goal just as they went into the fourth quarter, and you thought, well, Vandy have been blown out the water here. But 3 successive touchdowns in the fourth quarter. Pavia had a rushing touchdown. There was a great shot to Eli Stowers downfield. He just completely blew open a coverage. They were nowhere near him. And then they had another one towards the end from Hoskins. And with 30 seconds left, 3 down, they did the onside kick. And the onside kick squirmed out the Texas players' hands. It was there to be had. 2 Vandy players had a go at it. And unfortunately, they knocked it out of play just as he was grasping hold of it. And it was so close to recovering. But it was the same last year. They beat Bama and they were really competitive against other teams. Then Texas kind of came along and took the sting out of them. I don't know what it is, but Texas are getting hot at the right time. But you know, I wouldn't be disheartened if I was Vandy, right? Down 34-10, you're thinking yes, but they put up a massive fight in that fourth quarter. They completely shut Texas down. They kept fighting to the end. It is, despite the loss, still a new Vandy that looks like they're here to stay as a front runner in the SEC now.
Yeah, like I say, Vanderbilt, recent results, like I say, a few losses on the season, but very few blowouts. Like I say, they've been ultra competitive for the most part. Like I say, they've found a way to get back into this, make it competitive, and at least make the scoreline respectable. So it's a team that's no longer just resigned to, like, when they fall behind quickly, just kind of like roll over on their bellies. They do have this new grit to them. Like I say, and they are able to mount a comeback, and it would have been very interesting had they got the onside kick. Like I say, what could have happened? It could have had a very dramatic ending, but in recent weeks, like I say, special teams with Wingo, Arch Manning looks great. Colin Simmons now is playing out of his skin in recent weeks. Guys, like a couple of individuals from Texas have woken up and said, like I say, there's still something to be had in this season, and we may be able to actually drag the rest of the team, players that aren't performing, which a lot of them not pulling their way across the finish line. And I've been very impressed with a few of them these weeks. And yeah, I would not want to play Texas right now. Like I say, 'cause people keep saying, like I say, they're a bad team, don't believe their record, but then they do stuff like that. Like so those first half of 3 quarters, yeah, that's a huge win. And Texas will still have a big say in what happens in the SEC in the last remaining weeks. Like I said, they will still be. Do not overlook them. Like I say, because Manning right now is finishing the season strong.
I mean, this is all setting up for the rivalry game with TAMU, right? Who is still unbeaten on the year, and Texas are just a 1-loss team in the SEC. So you go into
Texas could be the biggest party pooper in the country.
Yeah, you go into that. If TAMU are unbeaten still, and Texas are only a 1-loss team,
nothing more than ruining their number 1 ranked unbeaten record.
Yeah. Now, obviously, the big test for Texas is Georgia next week. You get through Georgia, then you've got your rivals in your sights. Obviously, you lose the Georgia game. You can still be spoiler, but you kind of want the game to have stakes. I do want them to beat Georgia just so we can have a 0-loss TAMU against a 1-loss Texas with everything on the line for the SEC championship game. That would be insane. But yeah, Vandy are different, and I was really impressed with how they were able to fight back in for it. Probably right that they didn't get the kick at the end, because they didn't deserve to win overall. But, the old team would have just rolled over and not come back into that. So well done for them. We had quite a few ranked teams lose again last week. Ranked killings here, but the big one, the ACC has been blown wide open now, right? We wondered if Miami were going to be able to do it this year. They've not. They've now lost 2 games on the road against SMU, 26-20 defeat. And, I know you love that your Carson Beck, who you know and love, is back, and he is. I mean, this is an SMU team that for the most part has just been a little bit meh this year. But, I mean, this was very close throughout. Miami took the lead with a field goal with 9.5 minutes to go, but SMU were able to hit a field goal with about 20 seconds to go to take it to overtime, and overtime killed Miami. SMU were able to get the touchdown through Harden. It was just a 1-yard run from him. Miami were not able to get a score, and they go down 20-26. And now the ACC is wide open. Clemson are dead. Miami have now lost 2. And this thing all of a sudden rise wide open. But Cristobal and that, it's concerning. This should be the year. Florida State are no good. Clemson are no good. UNC are dead. A lot of the big hitters in the ACC are out of commission right now, and they're still struggling when they should be the power team. And Beck, he's regressed to old Georgia Beck again.
Yeah, at the worst possible time, he's gone into a shell. He's second-guessing himself. He's making lots of bad throws into double, triple coverage. He's gone back to playing hero ball, where, like you say, he's forcing throws in at windows that are not there. And, yeah, in, like I say, the last 2-3 weeks, it's royally bit them in the arse. And, yeah, from what looked like pretty comfortable, I'm now questioning Cristobal's position. Like I say, I think a lot of people should be. A team that's supremely talented, expensive, being invested into, like I say, and now should be running the ACC that has got no figurehead anymore. And are they going to let this slip? Are they going to blow it right at the end? Like I say, after how last season ended, where they lost their unbeaten stretch as well. Like I say, in a crucial, terrifying, like I say, loss that left a bitter taste in the mouth. I don't know if this team can finish. And I think ultimately that might come down to Mario, and I just think no matter how good the record will be, feels like his position at some point, is he going to be another one that just can't win the big games?
No.
And I say with Virginia and Louisville right now, ACC is, it's a minefield.
Yeah.
Anybody good in the ACC, I don't know.
Put it this way, the Cavs are one of the teams on this list who we're going to talk about more as just complete breakout team this year. As oh my God, please don't do this to me, Hoosiers. Let's go, please. Lisa says, bite your tongue, Anthony. Probably about Georgia. I don't want Georgia to lose, Lisa. I just want Texas to be a one-loss team going into the TAMU game. So, it's not like I'm deliberately asking for them to lose. And you should have lost the other week, by the way. Refs, we'll talk about it in a minute, but Georgia got a lot of ref help the other week, and they probably shouldn't have so much riding on it going into this, but I digress. We'll get there in a minute. Big 12, West Virginia smoked Houston 45-35. That's West Virginia's first Big 12 win all year. They got a new quarterback in. I have no idea about him whatsoever, but he had 2 rushing touchdowns and a passing touchdown. He didn't cause 1 turnover, so whatever worked there did. Connor Weidman was asked to throw for an absolute ton, 4 touchdown throws, 2 interceptions, but not much more ranked, so that was them knocked out the equation, although they did make up for it last night. Illinois beat Rutgers 35-13. Clemson, right? What on earth is going on with Clemson? Usually going to Death Valley was an automatic loss for any and every ACC team who went there. No matter how good you were, you could be a national title winning level team and you would lose. Now it seems anybody can walk into that stadium and walk away with a win, and I mean, what an absolute barnstormer this was. 46-14 to 45 to Duke in a game it looked like Clemson were going to get away with it. But this thing went here, there, all over the place. Duke were on top huge early. It was 21-7 after the first quarter, but then Clemson won the second quarter 21-7. So it was 28 all at the half. Clemson had a narrow lead going into the fourth, but Darian Mensah just had the absolute game of his life. This is what you pay all that money for with him, right? He had 360 yards, 4 touchdowns. I mean, to be fair, Cade Klubnik threw for nearly 400 with 2 as well. Finally, they started using Gideon Davidson a bit more, but that Clemson defense, we spent the entire preseason just saying, oh my god, how good is this at every single level? It's awesome, it's elite. Has just fallen to pieces when the offense has finally got its act together. This team just can't decide whether it's offensive, defensive, it can't decide whether it wants to work together or not, but, you know, big game for Darian Mensah, showing that, yeah, he maybe is worth that money.
Yeah, big for Mensah, like I say. On the road, like I say, one of the most partisan crowds you'll have ever faced. Proving that, I mean, Duke for me this year, like I say, I've raved about pre-season. I've been massively disappointing. Not because of him, though. He's proved to me that he's a potential NFL quarterback. And I get if he's there to, like, serve his own purpose, make his money and highlight his draft stock. I kind of get that. Like I say, I don't know how far DLs can take Duke much further. But, yeah, as you say, as one side kind of gets its shit together for Clemson, the other one goes walkabout. Like say, where are Sammy Brown? Where's Wade Woodhouse? Where's the middle of the defense gone? It's kind of just gone kaput in recent weeks. And yeah, this was another one that just got absolutely torched through the air. And like I say, the pass rush and that struggled. Mensah had a lot of time behind the pocket, behind a good Duke O-line. But yeah, both teams on the day, their defenses just absolutely evaporated. And in the end, it was just a slugfest.
Yes, it was indeed. Baylor took down UCF 30-3. UCF season getting very ugly indeed. UConn beat UAB.
Yeah, UCF. Yeah, I saw that.
Sorry.
The Taven Jackson experiment that started the year well. I mean, to say it derailed would probably be an understatement. They have a serious quarterback issue right now to UCF.
And you know what? I bet on them in the pick watch this week, and they let me down last night. They nearly won as well. They nearly won, but they let me down by their...
Yeah, they need to find a replacement for Taven Jackson. The life for Scott Frost in this stint so far has not been good.
No.
But I didn't think it would be. I'd say at the start of the season, it's going to be an ugly year.
It is, yes, it absolutely is. And it doesn't say much for Baylor. They're 5-4.
Baylor are just weird.
Yeah. They're 3-3 in the Big 12. They're 5-4. They're just a 500
team. The most inconsistent team I can think of right now, where supremely talented, but I say every week someone looks good. One ball looks terrible. Yeah. Dave Aranda, at this point, like you say, what's the point in firing in mid-season?
Yeah,
you got nothing to play for. Like you say, you might as well just try to do it cheaper. But I think you've got to get rid of it.
Yeah, absolutely, you do. UConn beat UAB 38-19. UConn bowl eligible this year. Jim Mora getting the Huskies to bowl eligibility once more, and maybe a bit more there. The Army Black Knights, they won in the Commander-in-Chief's trophy, but only 20-17. I think I was the only person who bet on Air Force for this. There were 2-5 on the year, but I mean, I don't know if you saw any of it. I did. It is what you would expect with these Commander-in-Chief's games, just proper, all-blown slug affair. I think Air Force are better than their record indicates. I think they're getting their stuff back together. I really like Sarker and what he's about, both as a quarterback and a rusher. He did throw some picks, but they were throwing the game towards the end. But, you know, entertaining in the Commanders-in-Chief, right? But Army now have they've got the inside track to this thing.
Yeah, like I say, a big win for them. It was very much let's call it a 2017, like I say, military kind of game, wasn't it? It was back to ground and pound. It was like a submission MMA where it's just all mat work, where it's kind of just, you'll carry my body weight until you're tired. And the last one standing, like I say, there wasn't many explosive plays that we've seen from the new brand offenses in recent years. Like I said, it was a throwback.
Yeah.
Like I said, Army, they nudge ahead in the race.
They do indeed. Speaking of the service teams, North Texas beat Navy 31-17. That is Navy's undefeated season over in the worst way possible because their schedule is rotten going towards the end of the year. That'll have been the one they wanted to win. They're still at the top of the American right now, but this is a huge loss for them and they can't afford any more slip-ups. Buffalo smacked Bowling Green 28-3 in the MAC. I know I had them to win, but not that dominantly.
I got that one very wrong, yeah.
Yeah,
right now, the MAC is weird. I watched a game other night, like you say, it's just a bizarre conference.
It is.
It doesn't feel like anyone is good.
No.
But like I said, there's at least, I think last week there was like 4 teams at 4-3 and like 3 at 3-4.
Yeah.
Like I say, I think that everybody can still win the MAC.
No one is good, but they're all entertaining. I think that's the way I would describe the MAC.
4 or 5 teams can still win the MAC.
Yeah.
And it's going to be very weird.
That Akron UMass game was just hilarious. They were fumbling the ball here, there, and everywhere. It was like they put soap on the ball.
Not enough's been said about the turnaround at Akron. You've taken the worst team in the country like in the last 2 years, and this year they actually are competitive.
They are actually. We might have to take a look in there because they're playing Kent State next week, and Kent State have turned themselves around a bit as well. So that's going to be someone's really going to turn their season around with a win there. We will keep a very close eye on that one. I don't really want to talk about it too much, but a repeat of the Big 12 championship game from last year. Arizona State still keeping their head above water, beating Iowa State, and Iowa State are dead, completely and utterly dead. Arizona State are on life support. But a win for Jeff Sims, at least, right?
Jeff Sims went wild. Like I say, in relief, like I say, Jeff Sims, like I say, has actually done very well. And with Sam Levitt, believe it's a serious foot injury now, having season-ending surgery. It's Jeff Sims now all the way. I'm pretty sure they've got a 4-star freshman, like I say, coming in next year. I think Sam Levitt could. I've got a feeling Sam Levitt will enter the portal.
What?
I've got a feeling he will get a promotion and an NIL deal.
What did Sims get? Like 220 yards or something? Was it on the ground?
Yeah, he was a one-man wrecking machine. But yeah, it's going to be very interesting to see now because, like I say, there's really nothing left to play for at the end of the year. Like I say for ASU, Dillingham is about to be linked to every high-profile job in the country. He said he's not leaving. Sam's done. Tyson is now thinking about the draft and will probably check out mentally. I would anyway. Like I say about thinking about his health.
Yeah.
What's such a promising season is Canada just gone to the dogs now. Unfortunately, it's all about the Territorial Cup.
Oh yeah, absolutely.
And, like I say, that's all they're going to think about now. And it will be Jeff Sims trying to capture it.
Yes, it will be indeed. Where were we up to? East Carolina, 45-40 in winners over Temple. The Owls have actually been very good this year. They're on the verge of bowl eligibility. The Owls have not been good in recent years, but East Carolina, one of those big slew of teams at the top of the American with just one loss. And I remember us being mildly excited about East Carolina, and then they had a lot of bad losses, and then we kind of forgot about them, and then kind of in the interim, they've gone under the radar. They're one of these teams who could shock us and win it.
Yeah, they've been a very interesting team. Like I say, started the year very shaky, but then the big time players, Anthony Smith and Kate Hauser, came to play, and they got their nose back above 500, and now they're trying to make a late run of the thing. So it'd be very interesting to see how they pan out. Temple, like I said, they're an interesting team. Like I said, they've got Peter Clark, the British London tight end from the NFL Academy. He's actually one of the highest graded tight ends this season in all of football in the whole country.
Oh,
There's
wow.
people talking about him for the NFL draft. Like I say, he will be soon eligible. Like I say, so he's making a real name for himself in the country right now, and that's great to see. Like I say, I hope he finishes the season really strong. Like I say, and he makes a case to be a day 3 pick or a part of UDFA. Like I say, may have a chance at When was the last time a British player was drafted?
Ooh.
I don't know.
That's a good question.
JJ was born there, but like I say, Peter Clark is fully born, raised, everything.
Oh, that's a good question.
Gotta be a long time. He'll be trying to be, like say, a proper British draft
Are we going back to OC days and stuff like that. Like,
I'd imagine so. Yeah.
Good Lord.
I mean, JJ. Yeah, he was London. He was British born, wasn't he? But he left the country as a baby.
Yeah. Yeah. It doesn't really count, does it? Like, they have to be fully British. So, yeah.
I'm going to be watching now Peter Clark, how he does the end of the season, see what he does at the end of the year.
Absolutely. We'll keep a very close eye on that. Just quick update. Lisa goes, Penn State up by 4. They are. Indiana just got to stop with the 2-minute warning to go. They're down 4. Mendoza, are you a quarterback 1 in this upcoming draft? This is the biggest drive of your life, Sunshine. You've got to maintain that unbeaten record. So let's see
Texas Tech score.
What he does.
Start for the pick watch for me.
Texas Tech have shut them out. Have they shut them out? Did they score any points? Or are they still
scored? But they get their ass kicked. Yeah. I'm having a terrible year in the pick watch, and it's not going about.
I want to see Texas Tech at home against someone like Oregon in the play. I want to see just how good they are. Like I get the Big 12 is amazing.
This is a huge win for the Red Raiders.
They might be in front of where even we thought they might be. Like, we thought they'd be good with the money, but can they do it against bigger teams which have established stars and are used to winning? I have a feeling they could knock some of these teams off now, especially if Bailey and Height and everyone stay healthy. But yeah, we will see with that. Louisville were 28-16 winners over VT. They're 7-1. They're 4-1 in the American. We probably have to take a closer look at them at some stage because they have gone completely under the radar. New Mexico on the road winners against UNLV, and the Mountain West is beaucoup interesting right now because Boise are bad, UNLV are bad, and you've got a clutch of teams at the top who can take control of this. But we used to talk about New Mexico a few years ago as kind of a bit of a joke, and they were, but in recent years, they've gotten better and better. And, you know, they lost their head coach last year after 1 year. Vincent's been there, did a great job, but... And then, of course, they lost Devon Dampier in the offseason. Wonderful quarterback. They've just gone out and found Jack Layton, who looks just as good as him. Like, not as enough has been said about the New Mexico program getting rebuilt and consistently looking good in the Mountain West now.
Yeah, because it's a team that anytime it gets anything good, don't get attached to it because someone's just going to take it away. Because you're not a big enough market, a big enough pull with big enough checkbooks to keep hold of coaches, assistants, football players in a landscape where it's pay to play. And right now, like you say, they're doing a job where every year they do well, something happens, it sets them back a little bit, it's back to the drawing board, and they continue to do well. So a big win for them. And the Mountain West full of frauds.
Yep.
So there's not a chance. Like I say, what was the conference that everyone assumed would be the G5 playoff team at the start of the year? Nobody's talking about them all now because none of them stand a chance or would even be worthy of it being in mention.
I remember we did sort of call the American might be interesting. It's probably a bit more interesting than we thought. But certainly the Mountain West was up there in those conversations. But the thing is wide open now. Who knows? Say it quietly. Hawaii. You know, we never know. Where else were we? Indiana on the verge of getting upset right now, but they smoked Maryland 55-10. But there was an injury to Elijah Sarrett in the first quarter of that game, which ended his nation-leading 46 games with a catch. That's insane. Some college players don't play 46 games at all. He has had 46 straight games with a catch, which is crazy. But Indiana continue to smoke through opposition, although they're in bother at the minute. We will see with that. Georgia 24-20 winners over Florida, and I'm now at a loss as to describe what Georgia are this year, right? You think they're good, they're a little inconsistent, then you think they're getting good, and then this game was unwrapped. Florida probably should have won this game. They got turned over on a 4th and 1 in the fourth quarter late in the game, and Georgia on the back of that drew for a touchdown downfield, but Florida still had a chance to come out and win this one. They had multiple chances to, but major controversy when a catch, and it was a catch from J. Michael Sturdivant, which was called on the field as a catch,
Is that the one
was
that hit
overturned.
The made out for it?
Yes, But the thing was, it's in his arms, and the ball drops sideways. The ball goes between his arms, the ball stays stood up. It sideways impacts. It only moves like that if it hits his arm and it's there. And they called it a catch on the field. They have to have conclusive proof to overturn that call, and they did. What it would have been was a big first down in Georgia's red zone for Florida, and there were a few more other calls that were very questionable in that sequence there as well, but Georgia looked rough. I mean, Florida are obviously fighting new head coach, team pride, everything like that. Lagway looked better. Bow was good. He had a rushing touchdown. Wilson, the wide receiver's just having an electric year. And the defense, time and time again, it got a pick of Stockton. Gave them opportunities, kept making stops. Had a stop rate over 50%, which is rare against this Georgia team. But they were helped by the refs, right? I mean, I get, the story of the game is told and all, but Florida should probably have won this, even if not, going back to the 4th and 1, which they were unable to convert, which was a bad play call. It shows there's still life in the team, but Georgia were hella lucky.
Yeah, Florida let them off the hook. Like I say, Florida had multiple chances, should have played better, put themselves in good positions, but didn't execute. Like I say, it's a young team. Like I say, they've got a sophomore QB, like I say, you've got young running back, got true freshman receivers, you've got a true freshman corner. I think Flowers right now is one of the highest graded freshmen, like say DBs in the country that's doing it, like say going up against some of the best in the country. Georgia had a odd bad week because like I say recently Gunnar Stockton has been like pure money. Like I say, it was a rough week for them on offense. Yeah, offense was definitely, like I say, the whole team in general bailed out on a few very questionable calls that definitely had a big swing in momentum and certainly would have hurt them in that aspect. So Georgia are very lucky. They get one, like I say, that's potentially a big gift wrap for them. Florida, keep chipping away, keep doing what they're doing. Like I say, keep looking attractive to the potential next head coach. That's all they can really do now.
Sorry, I just had to take a moment there. Becker, the Indiana wide receiver, just made one of the best catches I've ever seen in my life under pressure. They're down in the Penn State 10. This is huge. Charlie Becker, he's got 157 yards in his entire college career. 118 of them have come today. Like, no Elijah Sarrett in that team. These guys are stepping up. My God, I hope the Hoosiers win this, but crazy there. Notre Dame, number 12, struggled with Boston College. BC have been absolute horseradish this year, but they put them away, but they did not look comfy doing so. Texas Tech put away Kansas State 43-20, and a prediction you actually said earlier in the season, Rye, that came true this week. Dylan Edwards, the star running back for Kansas State, obviously had his injury issues at the start of the year. You, a while ago now, said, I would not be surprised if he redshirts and transfers. And I don't think a lot of people were going to be thinking that time. Thought he'll be back, he'll play, they'll have a good year, etc. What did he do this week? He's redshirted and he's going in the transfer portal. You called it bang on. I mean, Texas Tech, it took a bit of time to put them away. They eventually did, but big news for K-State. Their star running back's done. He's going, and they're going to have to start again.
Yeah. Yeah, his third team. I don't think he's settled anywhere. I don't think he was only settled here. Wasn't happy at Colorado. I think people think it's more a personal issue about him not fitting in at teams. But yeah, it's been a terrible season for K-State. He started from week 1 in Ireland. Like I say, Avery Johnson has been one of the most up and down quarterbacks all year. A lot of the guys have not stood out this year. They've been very inconsistent week to week, and their season is kind of just limping. They're kind of just like saying no man's land, really. And yeah, he's had his injury issues this year. I imagine he's probably been doing a lot of thinking and talking to people while he's been sitting out these games about his future, and he's decided, make a decision known, save the red shirt and go to the portal. Like I say, he's got a good number of scrimmage yards, good number of touchdowns. I know he's on his third team, he's a bit older in his injuries, but he'll still be a pretty attractive player in the portal that'll have many opportunities. For now, like I say, K-State loses a big piece of its weapon, like I say, to remain out the season.
It does indeed. Minnesota, 23-20 winners over Michigan State, and I am so happy for Barbaca. They found a spine. They were down with less than 2 minutes to go. Michigan State were not in this game for the first half at all. They were 10-0 down at the half. Minnesota were absolutely dominating. And then Michigan State just came back and absolutely smashed them in the mouth with 3 scores. Yeah. The story going into this is Aiden Charles is benched. Milivojevic's backup comes in and looks damn good. He went 20 of 28 for 255 yards and a touchdown. And looked good in the process, but Minnesota at home put under a whole bunch of pressure. They had a minute 50 left to try and even this game out. Michigan State scored, but Drake Lindsay, and I will give him his due, he's having his ups and downs in his freshman year, but he led one of the most clutch drives you will ever see, and he finished it off with a rushing touchdown himself. Whether there was a big thing about whether he broke the plane or not, I'm not 100% sure he did, but still was able to do it. It went to overtime. Michigan State got the ball first. They were held to a field goal, but Minnesota very dominantly. It was Drake Lindsay again rushing touchdown to win the thing. The young freshman, right? They're 4-2 in the Big this year. I know it's not been the season maybe we thought they might have as in really great season, but they're still low-key having a good conference season, and Lindsay looks tremendous as a freshman. Like, that was some real stones when he needed it, and oh my god, if that's a catch, Omar Cooper Jr. has just pulled off the worldiest of worldy catches to win it for Indiana. But sorry, back to it. Minnesota, Drake Lindsay, I think if they keep him, they got the makings of a really good QB there.
Yeah, because they've not had much of a run game this year, have they? Darius Taylor has been battling injuries, it feels like, all year. Like I say, he's had a few breakout games, but for the rest of it, he's been a bit non-existent. Like I say, they've got Rockington, there's some wide receivers and talent there, but I mean, there's not a lot of weapons to work with. Coy Perich was going to go both ways at start of year. That's not happened. They must have decided against it. Like I say, there's just not a lot for him to throw at Lindsay. But he's still doing a very good job this year. Like I say, doing a good job. Like I say, using his big build as a runner. Like I say, he's commanding good offense. But yeah, this week the big boys can't play this week. Anthony Smith, defensive end, has done very well all year, and Baranovsky, Maverick, the linebacker. Those are the two linchpins and leaders on defense. They did a great job of stepping up in recent weeks and making their presence felt. So yeah, the Minnesota defense really is bending, not breaking in recent weeks, and they're coming to play. So yeah, they're going to finish the season strong. Yeah. And future's bright, but they've got to use the portal. You've got to get him some wide receivers on. He's going to struggle, Lindsay.
Yeah, he is. Ryan, just when you get a chance, look at this catch from Omar Cooper Jr. that's just won the game for Indiana. Jesus Christ, it is one of the best things. Sorry, excuse my frivolity. That is one of the best catches you're going to see ever watching football. It's absolutely incredible. No Elijah Sarah and Omar Cooper stands up, but that is one of the best catches. Matt's in the comments just going, it's a worldie as well. That is an absolute worldie from Omar Cooper Jr. And Indiana and Mendoza showing spine. They're just about to come out now. Yes, it's confirmed. Unbelievable. You've got to go and see that catch, guys. It's one of the best catches you're ever going to see in your life. Penn State have 36 seconds to get a field goal to level it up. Pittsburgh 35-20 winners over Stanford. And we talk about the ACC been open, right? Virginia are up there. Pittsburgh are up there from no place at all. They had a rough start to the year and they thought, okay, it's kind of done for them, but they've just gone completely under the radar in what they're doing, and it all comes down to one of the best quarterback finds of maybe the best quarterback find, because he did not start this season. I don't think the plan was for him to play this season, but Mason Heinschel and the job that he's done resuscitating this Pittsburgh program for Narduzzi. Have you just seen it?
Yeah. How does he get his foot in? The
And
way
not
he
only
bends
that,
his
it's not
body-
even on the
the way
white
he-
line.
yeah,
It's
the way he bends his body to get his feet underneath him like that. That is incredible. The body control to do that is just
unbelievable,
superhuman.
right? It's absolutely incredible.
Can't defend that. Like I say, it's just the throw, put it there, and then you've just got to make the perfect catch. There's not what you can do really to stop it.
If you're a DB in that sitch, like, what can you do? Yeah, you're trying to push him back. There's nothing more you can do in coverage there. But Omar Cooper Jr., what a fucking stunning catch that is. But sorry, yeah, going back to Pittsburgh, right? Mason Heinschel, the freshman, the true freshman, another 300-yard game and 3 touchdowns for him. He did throw 2 picks, but thankfully for him, he was up against Bengal Branson, who threw 3. But this Pitt team and Narduzzi, we saw a couple of years ago when they made the title game, how devastating they can be, but they've got the defense back, and they've now got the offense to go with it, and they've just completely looked upon a true freshman who looks like he's a seasoned 4-year veteran.
Yep. Holstein off went to the portal. He's done in Pittsburgh now. Can't waste eligibility there. He has flattered to deceive too many times, and rightly so, being benched. And yeah, the freshman kid has come in, looked electric. He's taken the job, made his own in just a number of weeks, and now offers them a really bright future. And at just the right time, Pitt has kind of got his shit together and looks to be a major player or have a big say at least in who's going to win the ACC late in the season. So yeah, they are a very credible threat right now, and not a good time to play them if you've still got them remaining on your schedule, I fear.
Yeah, absolutely not. You don't want to be playing Pitt. Liberty dispatched Delaware 59-30. Delaware's still 4-4 on the year. The other team that came up this year.
Nick Minicucci has been a very good quarterback for Delaware this year. The numbers are very good.
Yeah.
Like I say, he looks a real strong talent going forward.
Absolutely, and like Liberty, it's not a bad team, right? It's been dominating the CUSA the last couple of years. They've been a very good side, but Delaware's still at 4-4. They're 2-3 in the conference, so doing very well. Western Kentucky beat New Mexico State 35-16. Fresno State absolutely bounced Boise, right? And there's no more E.J. Warner under center for Fresno State. It is now, I think it's Connor Conklin. Oh, it's definitely Conklin. I think his first name's Connor. I could get me wrong. But he didn't even really do much in this game. He threw for like 50 yards. It was the rushing game, and it was Fresno State's defense which went nuts here. But I think Maddox Magson got hurt, and then Boise had to bring in the backup quarterback, and they couldn't run the football. It was ugly, it was nasty, and Fresno just dropped a hammer down on them, and now Boise have lost. That's what's really opened the Mountain West up. Boise losing, UNLV losing. All these other teams on the outside got a leg up on them now. It's just utter chaos, but we didn't see Fresno bouncing Boise like that.
No. Like I say, Boise are a team that are kind of built around a few key players, and you take one of them out, or like I say, the rest of it, you can kind of take it away. And we've noticed, haven't we, that with Sire Gaines this year, the run game in Boise is just, it's not looked anything like it used to.
No.
Like I say, it's just, they've just lost their spark, and they've had to lean more on a quarterback for me that, well, I said last year I wasn't sold on, and now I'm kind of convinced of it. Like I say, that Madsen was great having an elite running back because he's your best friend, but when he's not there and you've got to do more of the heavy lifting, kind of been exposed maybe as a one-dimensional team.
Yeah.
Like I say, Cat's been thrown among the pigeons. Fresno State have had some terrible losses this year, like the Colorado State one. But when they really needed to, like I say, they laid it on factor 50, arse whooping, and now, yeah, like I say, it's going to be a real scramble. Like I say, everyone's panic stations in the Mountain West with, like I say, 3 conference games left for most people, and that's it.
Yeah, absolutely. This thing is wide open. I'll quickly go through the standings when we're done, just to give you an indication of where everyone is at. Just very quickly, as Penn State... Oh my God, is that a catch? Don't think it is. No, it is not a catch. And there's a flag out. Old Dominion, 31-6 winners over Louisiana Monroe. Old Dominion... They're bowl eligible again, 6-3. They're 3-2 in the Sun Belt. Ricky Vaughn again doing a fantastic job with the Monarchs. Maybe the Sun Belt aspirations are out this year, but still, bowl eligibility with Old Dominion is a good job there. Louisiana beat South Alabama 31-22. Virginia 31-21 winners over Cal, and just how legit are you, Virginia, this year, right? They've got a great quarterback they brought in from North Texas. The defense looks pretty nasty when it wants to. Virginia, they've suffered some scares, but they've mentally managed to fight their way through them. They keep churning out wins. I mean, this could be the year of the Cavaliers, potentially, in an ACC that just doesn't want to produce a top team.
Yeah, confidence is high. Momentum is a real thing in sports. People want to kind of say it's not, but yeah, it doesn't matter how you win, ugly, offense, good, defense, it doesn't really matter. Cavs keep finding a way to win. Like I said, they've blown some teams out, they've had some scares. Like I said, they've done OT, they've won every which way. It's a battle-hardened team that is very well coached. Cal, I know I picked them to win. I thought potential banana skin, but in the end, Virginia handled it very well. And yeah, in a year of chaos in the ACC, someone's going to have to reign supreme. There's no reason it can't be Virginia. Like I say, they, for me, have probably had some of the most consistency on both sides of the ball this year. So I'm looking at them now to just go get it done. Yeah. If you don't know what happens next year. Someone bounces back. Can't let these opportunities pass you by, and that goes to, say, Virginia and Louisville. So one of you's got to capitalise on. Clemson bad, Miami can't be trusted.
Yeah, absolutely. But yeah, Virginia, one of the teams in there. A very heartfelt win. Mississippi State 38, Arkansas 35. Mississippi State were down with 10 minutes to go, 35-21. The Hogs had just got themselves a touchdown by this point. You're thinking 14 points, they're going to lose again. They've not won a game in what feels like forever. And then they just put together three of their most clutch drives, 2 touchdowns and a field goal, just completely turned this thing around. It was a battle of teams who were winless in the SEC as Indiana survive a massive scare. That Omar Cooper Jr. catch is going to be shown on highlight reels all season, but it's not been easy for Miss State, right? They've gone through a lot of bad times, but Blake Shappen, it feels like, has thrown for 20,000 yards trying to keep him in games. You feel good for him eventually managing to get a win under the belt. Them and Arkansas are both in dire straits right now, but you've got to appreciate the fact that they managed to churn this one out.
Yeah. 2 teams that have had very underwhelming seasons. Like I say, they've both struggled at times, both lack a lot of confidence. Both of them, like I say, got good quarterbacks, like I say, but
bless you.
One hot and cold coaches right now, or coaching situations that are somewhat very tenuous. So it's going to be an interesting way to see how they end the season. But yeah, one of them, like I say, had to get the win, and it means a lot. Like I say, Miss State have had a bad year. Like I said, they really needed this. Like I say, for the fans, needed this as well. Like I say, morale is low, so I was glad in the end they would be able to want to get.
Got you. Yeah, good for Miss State there. Kansas beat Oklahoma State 38-21. The OK State catastrophe just continues. They're 1-8 on the year. They've not won a single game in the Big 12. Continues to be tough times for them. Western Michigan beat Central Michigan 24-21. The Broncos in with a good shot at the MAC this year, up the top up there with Buffalo. So we will focus in on them next week because they're one of the teams that have come out of a bit left field as well. Old Miss beat Carolina 30-14, and Old Trinidad, right? I know it wasn't his greatest game here, but you don't feel like this is a team with a Division II quarterback anymore. It feels like he's settled in this team now. This team can go out and win every week, and it's just how high can the Rebs go with him now? It feels like he's what they've been missing, but they look pretty good at the moment.
Yeah, like I said, they are finding ways to win games. He's having good success. He's firmly in the Heisman race. He brings a lot of experience and leadership because he's used to winning big games at the D2 level. Like I say, he doesn't look out of his comfort zone at all. And right now, like I say, Kiffin continues to trust him. That's the thing. It would be very easy to put Austin Simmons back in, that he was gifted and loves, but right now he's putting his confidence in Trinidad, and hopefully, like I say, that pays dividends later in the year. They're in a great position right now. They just need to hold their nerve, see out the year, they make the playoffs, and then, we'll see what they're really made of and what Lane really has got in the locker to get them prepared.
Yep, we will indeed. Purdue 16, Michigan 21. Oh boy, if it wasn't for Jordan Marshall, Michigan would have been struggling. Purdue, very quietly, Rye, a team that they're still not great at this moment in time, but they look like they're starting to get some traction as to where they're going. I don't know whether the quarterback they've got is going to be the one, but the run game's getting a little bit better. The defense is hanging in a little bit more. I think this probably says more about Michigan not been as good as we thought out of this, but there's a good chance that Purdue could have won this game, but for Jordan Marshall's performance there. Michigan a long way to go, but Purdue, the signs of recovery are there.
Yeah, it's not going to manifest in wins this year, like I say, but the fact Purdue is kind of just getting it together. They're kind of formulating a plan for 2026. And like I say, it's everything they're doing now is bigger than this year. This year's a write-off. Like I say, and that's okay. They're trying. Like I say, I'm with you. They're trying to find their future. Is it Reese Brown? I mean, well, I look at what's going on right now. It's not. But they're even keeping Ohio State in check right now.
Mm.
They're only down 21. They've held the Buckeyes 24 with, like I say, 10 minutes left in the fourth. So their defense is playing its ass off.
Yeah.
They're at least trying to give them the chance. The offense is doing nothing, but the defense is giving it all. Like I say, and they were able to frustrate the hell out of Michigan.
Yeah.
Like I say, they made the Wolverines look average, pedestrian, and in the end, Michigan won. But not for an overwhelming sense of joy. It's relief. Wow, we really escaped to that one.
It absolutely is. Yes, I just listened to Gus Johnson's call for that. He's my favourite commentator, period. Like, he makes college football, Gus Johnson does.
Like I say, Michigan keep winning. Their run game's strong, their defense is getting better. Bryce is there. Like I say, this is a team, like I say, I agree, it's not there right now. But starting 2026, like I say, Michigan could be pretty scary.
I mean, I wouldn't want to play them in a playoff game potentially. Like,
no,
if they're a massive underdog,
I wouldn't want to have to go to Ann Arbor in the playoffs.
No, if they're a massive underdog or something, I wouldn't want to play them. That
ground game it's been clicking all year. Like saying, even with a QB, that's finding his feet now. They're pretty well balanced.
Exactly. Arizona 52, Colorado 17, and there's something wrong with Colorado football.
Right? Huge losses in a row for Colorado. I think it was,
53 given up against Utah, 52 given up against Arizona, and then today they've just shipped 30 and a loss to West Virginia.
GL Sanders looks like a man that's either about to be fired or ready to quit.
Yeah,
he looks dejected.
I know he's had the health problems, and of course, you wish the very best for him and hope he's healthy.
A nightmare. Like I say, he's had to start his true freshman today because, like I say, Ryan Stewart's been terrible. Like I say, Kane Salter
not been the guy.
Yeah, like I say, without his sons there, he looks lost. Team looks lost. Yeah. I don't know. I think John Seaton get the hell out of there. Get to a good O-line where you can plug in and, like I say, maybe, make a big name for yourself.
Yeah, absolutely. He needs to. Someone's got to stand up there. That's for damn sure. San Diego State 24-7 winners over Wyoming, and San Diego State was what this show was named after because they play at the Snapdragon. Called it Snapdragon and Pop. That's a play on the Rice Krispie thing, but. San Diego State are the team standing atop the Mountain West now, right? And you look in recent weeks, they play Hawaii today. It's a big one for Hawaii. But they gave up 7 to Wyoming, 0 to Fresno State, 10 to Nevada, 3 to Northern Illinois. They shut out Cal, who are a power team. We associate the Aztecs with their defense. We have for years. Like, they've had some terrific defenses, terrific defenders come to the NFL. They've never kind of quite got it done on offense to complement this team with it. And last year they were awful because that defense disappeared. But the new DC, Rob Ulrich, he was in charge of the Idaho Vandals defense when they got to the playoffs a couple of years ago. That amazing defense they had obviously turned it round there. Like, Sandy, this is why I say you win the Mountain West with a defense that big. I mean, just they're giving up no points whatsoever. It's probably one of the best defenses statistically in the nation, which is why the Aztecs are doing so well. But if they're going to win the Mountain West this year, it will be for that. And this has come from nowhere. The performance increase in one season has been incredible.
Yeah, that defense is absolutely playing lights out. It's making life for the offense just so easy. Like I say, it's just smothering run games, it's shutting down passing games, and ultimately it's leading to great field position. Right, it's giving the least possible work to do for the offense, and right now, sitting atop of the Mountain West, looking like a very deserving winning champion that no one will begrudge right now. So yeah, they say defense wins championships, and they are embodying that right now.
They do indeed, but in what defense? Good defense wins you championships. Bad defense loses you a late season unbeaten record, and we wondered when it was going to happen. The ACC had one dominant team in it this year who was unbeaten and looked like they cracked what they needed to go on and do the whole thing and go and win it, and we wondered, were they going to slip up, because they always slip up, and they did it against my Wolfpack. Georgia Tech 36, NC State 48. Absolute marmalization here from the Wolfpack. I mean, this thing was just a slobber knock. It's one of my favourite games I've seen this year. The teams just traded touchdowns for what felt like forever. But NC State were always just able to keep on top, mostly for the most part, keep their noses in front. Every time Georgia Tech did get in front, NC State responded, kept going again and again and again. And I mentioned at the start of the year, CJ Bailey, guys like this, they're young. They need time to be able to adjust. And bearing in mind, there's no Hollywood Smothers on this team. He's hurt. There was no Jolie this week. He's seriously hurt. They're missing their two biggest playmakers on offense outside of the quarterback, and yet everyone came to party here, and Haynes King did what he could. He threw for 400 yards, but eventually the party came to an end, Ryan. It's such a shame, this Georgia Tech defense that's done so well, the team that's done so well, and then you give up a 50-burger to a team missing its two breakaway home threats on offense. Even I didn't see this coming as an NC State fan. I thought they'd kick our ass, but NC State, we're going in the right direction. We're young. It's a growing team. We got, for me, a tremendous quarterback, and he showed that he is. It's fun, and Georgia Tech now, they've got to bounce back quick. They can't have another mistake.
No. Huge loss for Georgia Tech. Like I say, they took their eye off the ball on this one. Like I say, their defense totally went to sleep, let them down when it mattered most, and they've the worst possible time to slip up. Like I say, because they were in charge. They've now been dragged back in. Like I say, everyone's clawing at them. They're pulling them back into the mess. Like I say, they had a chance to kind of take a bit of a momentum going forward. But yeah, NC State, this is bigger than right now. This is about 2026, when Bailey, like you say, is mature. Like I say, Smothers then gets a whole extra year in the program, knows what he's doing, and you're kind of working towards starting that. Like I say, it's a real title contender. Like I say, we've got a program that's all on the same page, so this is a big win for them, proving that about their top talents they can get it done. So yeah, I think the Wolfpack definitely have to start 2026 as one of the ACC title favourites in the bookies' eyes.
If we can keep Bailey, that's going to be the problem. But if we do,
I see no reason for him to leave, apart unless it's money driven.
Yeah, it could be money driven. Obviously, Jolie will come to the trial, although I don't know what his injury. It looked bad. I don't know what they've confirmed.
A weak tight end class. Yeah. So you'd imagine Jolie does declare.
He probably will. But yeah, big win for NC State there. Kentucky beat Auburn 10-3 in a game we don't need to talk about. That just shouldn't exist. Oregon State beat Washington State in the Pac-12 homeless battle, which is weird because Oregon State have looked awful this year, and Washington State nearly upset Ole Miss. and then they lost to Oregon State. I just don't get that Wazoo team at the minute, but both teams in some sort of purgatory right now. Florida State destroyed Wake Forest 42-7. Should have known better than to go for them on that, but hey ho, it is what it is. Arkansas State beat Troy 23-10. I have Arkansas State in that Sun Belt title game, and they can still make it. Hopefully they will. San Jose State won a massive shootout against Hawaii 45-38, which was a shame for Hawaii, but the Mountain West title aspirations are still not over with other results going their way. The last two were ranked, the three left. USC just knocked off Nebraska 21-17, and on the back of that, Nebraska gave Matt Rule a new contract. Don't get it.
Dylan Raiola broke his leg.
Which, thoughts and prayers to Dylan Raiola. That season's done, but they're keeping Matt Rule, so God knows what is going on with that one. But yeah, that happened. In the SEC, Oklahoma beat Tennessee 33-27, which has ended Tennessee's season as far as the championship goes. They're now 3-3 in conference there.
We need to have a conversation about Josh Heupel that people just aren't talking about.
Yeah, I mean, he would argue back that he was given a Guiar with next to no time to go in the season whatsoever. But
next season, he starts the season on a very warm seat.
He does, and this is
the quarterback in.
And it's not really a Guiar's fault. Like, they rushed for like 60 yards in this game.
Doesn't he have like the most 10 plus or 20 plus yard completions in the SEC?
Yes.
You've got Brazil, one of the best deep threat receivers in the country.
Yes. It's crazy. Well, like, there was like 60 yards of rushing offense from Tennessee, which wasn't a Guiar. He's a group of 5 quarterback playing at Rocky Top, and you're just going to say, right, you're going to throw the ball 43 times in a game and we expect you to go win it. He threw for 300 yards, 2 touchdowns, 2 interceptions. There are some boneheaded plays in there, do not get me wrong. He threw for 4 touchdowns. I don't know why. It was about 350 yards and 4 touchdowns and 2 interceptions. Mattia was solid, he threw a pick as well, but their run game really kept them going. And Oklahoma side, their defense as well, they got a defensive touchdown. It was R. Mason Thomas with one of the plays of the week. He absolutely somebody wrecked a Guiar. He fumbled it. R. Mason Thomas picks it up. He houses it from about 50 yards out, I think it was, but the defining feature is he's stiff-arming a Tennessee player. Was it a Guiar trying to tackle him? He's stiff-arming him for about 35 yards, trying to keep him off him at arm's length, pulls his hamstring and runs into the end zone hobbling, can barely walk by the time he gets there, houses it. It's absolutely crazy, but that Oklahoma D-Ryan making the plays, it got quite a few turnovers in this game, which is why they won when all is said and done. But you're right, Tennessee, we need to have a discussion about them, but Oklahoma still just about going there. Much better than last year. They are going in the right direction.
Yeah, and Mattia looked much better. The first 2 games after the hand injury, he stunk. Like I say, but he was clearly not ready. Like I say, this week he looked more comfortable. Was a turnover, but it looks alright. But yeah, the offense rushing the ball and the defense woke up and kind of just did a lot of the heavy lifting. Like I say, Oklahoma still got the chance to finish the season strong. Like I say, as long as Tennessee can't have a run game, don't have a run game, ask Aguiar to be hero, Superman, then yeah, they're not going to do very well and end the season in any real credible fashion. And yeah, they only need to think about how they fix that offense for next year.
Yeah. They really do. But yeah, Oklahoma just about alive. And then the last game of the week, Cincinnati, number 17 in the country, on the road against Utah. This was in the pick watch and got a couple of people, not me though. It's the new boy against the old head. Cincinnati have just been nothing short of amazing this year. They were 7-1 coming into this. They were unbeaten in the Big 12. Utah were also... they were 6-2, coming into this. They'd lost 2 Big 12 games, including Holy War a couple of years ago. But Utah have been there and done that. Cincinnati, very much an emerging football team right now, and it showed in this one. And it was Utah's defense, right, looking back to its imperious best, giving up just 2 touchdowns
that defense
in the game. I mean, Dampier was good. He wasn't amazing, but he was good. Wayshawn Parker was good, but Brendan Sorsby and that untested Cincy offense in terms of high pressure situation games just came up against a unit which for years now has been one of the best in college football, and they really did show it.
Yeah, John Daly, like I say, one of the high profile D-line players in the name, came to play. Utah defense brought some serious pressure. Like I say, they've got good DBs. Smith Snowden has really emerged this year as one of the top corners in the country. They brought all the heat that they could on Cincy. And as you say, Brendan Salisbury's had it pretty comfortable for most of the year. He's done a good job. Like you say, he's moved the ball very consistently. But they found a way to slow them down this week. Like I say, Dampier did a good job of not putting the ball in harm's way, just doing it enough, kept the sticks moving, put them in good positions to score. And Utah in the end they were worthy winners. Like I say, because they played very good complementary football. The Cincy defence, it just couldn't bring enough to put Utah off its stride and take them off their kilter.
Okay, Marmarker's just joined in just as we finished the review from week 10.
Cincy's too used to outscoring teams.
Yeah, they are, and been on top in a position to dominate from in front. When you're behind and you've got your backs pressed against the wall, it's an entirely different thing, and Utah are used to that. Even if they're not as good, they have that pedigree about them.
And the crowd as well, the partisan crowd, the blackout uniforms, the hand-painted helmets,
they were...
The scenario, the situation, I think it was too big for Cincinnati.
I tell you what, the helmet game has been awesome these last few. There have been some incredible helmets coming out, but those hand-painted Utah ones might have been some of the best, period. Although the space unis that UCF did this week, oh my god, they looked... Have you seen the space unis, right? Right, they are.
Yeah. I didn't like the light blue numbers, they stuck out.
Oh, did you not? Good. Oh, I thought they looked amazing.
I hate the fact they call it a space game and then Houston just wear normal uniforms.
Yeah, true. I'm still waiting. We're approaching Army-Navy game time now. That's, of course, that's the uni declarations you're waiting for. Those two are the ones who go above and beyond. But absolutely there. But yeah, Mark Marker's in the building. Hope you're doing well, Mark Marker. We spoke very nicely about Drake Lindsay earlier. Clutch QB in the making. In terms of... this week, obviously this week is going on right now, so we'll not go too much into it. We'll quickly explain our pick watch picks this week, even though some have already been and gone, just to finish it off as we always do, because we have another show coming up tonight. We're doing our Commanders preview not long after this show ends. Not sure exactly when, but we will get it done. I was nearly late getting these done this week, but where are we at? Pick watch this week, and we both need to have a fantastic week. We did have UTSA at South Florida in this one. I mean, UCF absolutely marmalized UTSA. It wasn't even close. Byron Brown and the South Florida offense didn't see the field until it was 14-0 to South Florida, and until UTSA had about 30 offensive plays on the board, which was absolutely cray. But we both got that one right, which is
USF
good.
Defense came to play. Big turnovers.
I tell you what, Mac Harris, if he wasn't a sixth year, I don't know how much the sixth year stuff's going to affect him, but Jalen Shuler looked damn good. Rucker, the cornerback, looked really good. There's some legitimate NFL talent on that USF defense. A lot but Byron Brown,
they brought the heat, and like you say, QB didn't like it.
And USF for their defense, do you know they were running a play every 27 seconds? It's the fastest in the FBS. Also, 27 seconds between plays. How are you meant to settle as a just UTSA couldn't settle as a defense. It was absolutely incredible, but I didn't realise, but they run a variation of the go-go, which UNLV did, except it's a quicker version of the go-go, which is frightening. But Byron Brown, are we talking drafted territory? Someone's got to put a draft pick in on him, surely.
Yeah, 6'3", 2. He's built like Derrick Henry. He runs like Derrick Henry. But like I say, you saw from some of the throws, like I say, he's got some great touch and poise. Like I say, he's a physical aspect. Like I say, he runs a fast offense. He's a quick processor. I think he has to get drafted. I think for a team looking for a true, legit dual threat quarterback, if your offense fits that, then yeah, like I say, I look at some like the Cardinals that are running what Kyler Murray does. Like I say, I think like yeah, give him like Byron Brown that wants to run a really fast offense like that. Like I say, I think there's plenty of teams out there that will throw a late round pick at him.
Absolutely, there will be. I think he should. There should be quite a few members of this USF team who were drafted this year. In terms of the other ones,
And the ones that don't will probably be following him to a big job.
yeah,
Ever will. He's going to get every Florida will vacancy will be trying to get him.
yeah, absolutely they will. I can't believe I'm watching an Iowa game this year. Oregon have got a safety against Iowa, so it's 2-0 in that game. I threw
Oregon are hurt. I know DeCarrier Moore, no Kenyon Sadiq.
Yeah, I know. It's mad. That Iowa defense. I'm interested here. I don't know how fraudulent Iowa are. This game will prove how fraudulent they are or are not. But that defense is going to have to play out of its freaking mind.
We saw that stat the other day, didn't we? That Iowa have now gone 73 games without a 300-yard passer.
Yes.
But are 51-22 in that time.
73 games, as Ryan's just said.
Mark Gronowski, can he finish the year and snap the streak of a 300-yard passing game?
Yes. Iowa have not had a 300-yard passer for 73 games. How many seasons is that? About 11, 12 games a year? That's pre-COVID. That's literally pre-COVID.
That's over 5.5 seasons.
God, Bennett. There's no postseason in there, obviously, but yeah.
Who would have been the quarterback? I can't even think who Iowa have had that many quarterbacks. I have no idea they'd been there 6 years ago.
Oh Jesus! It would have been pre-Cade McNamara.
Before
it was before Cade. Spencer Petras. Oh, it might have been. Spencer Petras was there some time.
Yeah,
I think Spencer Petras as a freshman was actually pretty decent. I will have to go and check that one out, but it's been a long time. But I threw UTSA South Florida in there as a trap game. No one bit on it at all. But I threw a second trap game from the American in there. Tulane away on the road at number 22, Memphis. Me and you, the only ones who called this. We both had the Green Wave winning. Why? Because the Green Wave got absolutely humiliated last week against UTSA. There is no way John Summerall teams 2 weeks in a row get humiliated. Plus, I don't think Memphis are as good as their record
Lewis
states.
Is questionable. As soon as I saw that, I thought Tulane are kicking ass here.
Yeah, and no one else looked at that, which was great for us. Everyone else picked Memphis but Tulane. And that's what I mean. The Americans cutthroat. It doesn't matter. I don't care about rankings. If you're an American team ranked this year, I don't really think it matters, does it? Because there's that many teams that can beat you. There's that many good teams. Like rankings, just ignore them. Ignore them. Look at the teams. Look at how they're playing. But we got that one right indeed. Houston at UCF. Houston lost,
Weird
obviously.
Game, Weidman was terrible.
He was. It was his worst game as a Cougar so far. I thought UCF were going to pull off a sneaky upset on the back of that. Only a couple of people bit on this one, including myself, which was not good because I was having a perfect week up until then. But yeah, Weidman did not have a good game. Houston just snuck it out though, so they're still in there. Texas Tech and BYU has already ended. Number 8 BYU against number 9 Texas Tech.
That's the first one I've got wrong.
I know it's down.
Maya just got battered.
We should have maybe known better coming up against that defense. Texas Tech, one of the best teams in the nation, but I guess you can say now Texas Tech, without doubt, I know BYU have had the unbeaten record, but if you're looking who's the power in the Big 12 this year in the postseason, I think it's the Red Raiders, right?
I think Texas Tech have got a chance to crack the top 5 this week.
Yeah. They're probably going to be right up there because now they've got a win over a top 10 team. Maryland and Rutgers are playing at the moment. Most people have picked Rutgers to win that one. Maryland are just in a state of chaos right now.
But that obviously means that the Terps will win.
Yeah, absolutely, it will there. We got Florida State at Clemson. You've picked a Florida State winner over Clemson. Now, I get that Clemson have been bad this year, but FSU have beaten bad teams, and when they've come up against good teams, they've lost. I guess they're both bad. Was this a close decision, or what went into your thought process there?
For me, it feels like that Clemson offense, I've not seen it stack good offensive games all season. Like I say, it just feels like it's going to be a weird one. Like I say, I backed FSU to take down Wake Forest.
Oh.
If I show faith in someone, like I say, well, it usually bites me in the ass, but I'm going to double down on them.
Oh, Gary Bryant's just been stretchered off for Oregon. That's their receiver room getting an absolute dicking right now.
Well, they're really struggling.
Yeah, he's been helped off, but he can't put any weight on his right foot whatsoever. That receiver room is thin for them. Who else do we have this week? Texas State at Louisiana. This is two fallen powers.
Yeah,
Texas
both not been great this year.
Kinney's looked off. Obviously, is that kind of a home thing or?
Yeah, I've gone purely for the home team there.
Yeah, it's that was a tough one there. Southern Miss have beaten Arkansas State. Oh God, I had it. You've called that one right. I had Arkansas State winning that. Southern Miss, Charles Huff. What a man, Rye. When are we going to start talking about this man in much more coloured terms? Like, he's been at a lot of big programmes, learnt the right way. He's turned that Marshall team into a championship calibre side. He's gone to Southern Miss. Let's not forget, they've been awful. Absolutely tragic these last few years. Could barely buy a win. And I know he's taken a lot of his Marshall players with him, but winning's just easy for this man. Like, he's got to be up there as certainly one of the best teams in the best head coaches in the group of five. He's just turned them around in the blink of an eye.
Yeah, and that's after losing Frank Gore Jr.
Yeah.
Like I say, their do-it-all guy departs, and then, like you say, Huff comes in that has got a good track record, and he just proves, like you say, but they had one guy of 3 interceptions. Like I say, yeah, he's turned them like into a juggernaut right now, and they are winning, just playing great football. Very well-rounded team right now.
Absolutely, they are. I was very mean this week because we've nearly had some 10-win guys in here. Florida International at Middle Tennessee, that are two bottom dwellers in the CUSA. We've both picked FIU because Middle Tennessee are a train wreck.
Ass.
They're a train wreck this year. Nico Marchiol, or whoever it is, has just not translated whatsoever. And then we've got Bowling Green at Eastern Michigan. That is probably should be over about now. We both had the crate train in that one because Bowling Green got smoked last week. In fact,
you were winning with 2 minutes left.
And they've got the ball. So this is close. We've both picked Eastern Michigan here. But
Bowling Green have burnt me before, so screw them. That's why I had to go against them.
Bowling Green's about to go 4-7 on the year. They've this is a throwaway year. The MAC, obviously, you can be good one year and then absolutely terrible the next. There's no prisoners in the MAC. You can go from one extreme to the other very quickly.
Yeah, I'm on for fingers crossed, potential 9-1 week. Every team that's played so far has won that I've picked. I'm halfway there.
That's it. We just need a few more 9-1s to get us back in the hunt, as it were, and for the rest of them to start losing as well. We need Middle Tennessee. We need Florida International to win, and we need Clemson to win. No, you don't. But anywho, that's where we're at. We're not going to do any more of the preview because the slate is happening right now, so that's all that's going on there. But yeah, appreciate everyone who has joined us this evening. Anything else you want to mention before we get out of here for this one?
I don't think so. It's just we're very close to bowl season, aren't we? We're so close to the best time of year.
We are. Playoffs, all that's going off. It's going to be good fun. Obviously, it's been a bit different this week with us been doing this on the Saturday, but hopefully we're back on the regular Wednesday slot next week. So we're going to do the bits we haven't done this week. So I have been looking at a single team in every conference who have been overachieving. I may have to adapt that after this week, but we're going to shine a light on teams who need more attention putting on them, which is going to be good fun. Ryan has been taking a look at players who have piqued his draft interest, who he necessarily wasn't looking at before. So we're going to be bringing some more names to the fore with you there. Then, of course, we're going to be breaking down this week 11 schedule as well. And we'll carry on taking a look at the playoff brackets, see if any new teams come up in the FCS and the FBS playoff brackets there. So we're going to have a big bumper pack show for you on the Wednesday, which is going to be absolutely great. The main Detroit Lions podcast from us is going to be back at some point in the next hour or so, we're going to do the Washington Commanders preview. We've had to literally pile everything into this Saturday because of everything that's been going off, but we will be back for that shortly. And then, yes, my market goes pushing towards the holiday games. Canada already had its Thanksgiving. It did the CFL. Is that at its final now? Where's the CFL at?
Semi-finals.
CFL's at the semi-finals, so we're going to have that soon.
We've got Montreal, Hamilton in the east, and we've got Saskatchewan and I think it was BC in the west.
BC.
For the first time in, I think, 6 years, Winnipeg will not be in the Grey Cup.
Oh, wow.
So they're a long snap for them. But yeah, it's been a very interesting year.
Yeah, well, maybe have a little look in that at some point. But yeah, we got a big show coming up for you on Wednesday. Appreciate you for joining us today, and we shall see you again very shortly. That's all from us. Roar of the Lions UK. Type us in, find us, subscribe, like, all that good sort of stuff. We appreciate you and all the support you give us. And yeah, enjoy the rest of college football Saturday. I'm going to sit here and watch Iowa now and see if they can surprise me for the first time in forever. Just remains for me to thank Rye. We shall see you again soon.